We have a different guest coach on every week. We have somebody really special on this week who's never, ever been on the call before. And we've actually had a lot of that in the last couple months. And I think that's really cool to bring lots of different new perspectives to the table and give you an opportunity to learn lots of different things and in lots of different ways and kind of synthesize that. Take what you like and discard what you don't like and create your own Bruce Lee style like I did. So I'll just tell you a little bit about the coach that we have here tonight, Ryan. He's come a long way. You know, he's been in this for a long time, and I've been out with him, and so I can tell you firsthand, he actually does exactly what he says he does. And believe it or not, that's kind of rare. Most guys, believe it or not, when you travel around, you get close enough to these guys, you realize a lot of the guys, their own personal game is not actually even what it is that they teach. And he's one of those people that is very consistent. And he actually, I've seen him. He gets results with it. I've gone out with him. I've picked up with him. And he picks up. And we've pulled together, and I have a lot of fun when I'm with him. Has great positive energy, and he has his own unique blend of pickup. So I'm just speaking from the heart of the things that I know about Ryan, because I've known him now for I would say 6 years. I mean, it's been a while, and even in the time that I've known him, like, he's improved drastically. So you can always keep improving. There shouldn't be any point at which you say, okay, well, I've learned all I need to know and I'm done. And he's gotten some significant media coverage as well, from lots of local Las Vegas publications. He's been on the magazine covers of 7 magazine, and if you're from the Las Vegas area, I'm sure you've seen that all around the place, as well as City Life magazine. For his work as a pickup artist coach, he is a great guy, and we used to spend a lot more time hanging out and talking than we have in a while. And when we did, I always enjoyed that time. It just so that as I got busy and he got busy, we kind of drifted apart. And so I'm glad that he's doing this call now with you guys, and he's going to talk to you guys about what he thinks are the number one things, some of the most important stuff, and then we're going to open it up to some questions and answers. Before we do that, I hear some increasing background noise, and so what's going to happen is, as more and more people come on the call, all the little ambient background noise is going to build up, all the little computer fans and different things running. So what I'm going to ask everybody to do right now is please take 30 seconds and individually mute your phones.
I like that. Hey, thanks, Nat. Appreciate that, brother. And it's been too long, man. And I don't know if I didn't even get a chance to talk to you because I've been kind of almost in an isolation environment for the last couple years, basically just like perfecting my game, and well, I'll not say perfecting it, but just taking it to a whole new type of level, like I guess a whole new meta strategy that I developed, and I'll talk about that a little bit if we have time. But I found a lot of ways to kind of take your game from, I don't know, you remember how we were back in the day, and starting in the community, and we'd be just going out sarging and talking to like random set after set, getting some results here and some results there, which kind of influenced me to start saying, well, this is poor time management. Like, we're out here, talking to so many sets and getting a certain number of results. And then, I created that one thing that I called the target market assessment that I ended up writing a whole book on and published that. And then I went on a tour and did a lot of seminars about that. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because I think it's one of the biggest problems in the community, because all of the mystery method and the game is all based on just go out and approach 50 sets and just get used to talking to strangers. And I mean, that's cool for a while, but for me, I think one of the most important things is, especially when I'm dealing with clients, I know that most guys generally want one of three things. They either want a relationship, they want more sex, or they're already in a relationship and they just want more confidence with women in general, or being just a better people person and dealing with people in general. But the guys that come to me and they want real relationships, and then I say, okay, well, what type of girls are you into? What? Tell me about your counterpart. What's your idea of a soulmate, etc. And most guys don't have a fucking clue. They're just like, well, I want, hot, big tits, ass, and that doesn't really describe like something that's going to be in a long-term relationship. You know what I mean? I heard
Could you guys please mute your phones individually? Otherwise, I'd have to mute everybody. I don't want to have to do that. Thank you so much.
It sounded like someone was warming up to sing a song. A little vocal coach.
It sounded like they were in a firehouse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I think for example, a guy came to me. He's a Mexican dude, and he's like, okay, he's trying to talk about what he wants in a woman. I say, tell me about her. And he's like, I really like Latina girls, for example. And I'm like, okay, cool. So where are you going to pick up fucking hot Latina girls? And he's like, well, I'll be going to Pure on Tuesday night. They close now. They're a new club now, I believe. But so this is kind of a couple years ago. And I'm like, well, that's cool. If you want to go pick up, the 22-year-old blonde girl, party girl, whatever. But if you're looking for Latino girls, you need to go to Crown Nightclub, which is Latin night on Thursday night, where there's going to be an abundance of beautiful Latin women. And he's like, oh, fuck, mind blown right there, because, he's just doing the same community bullshit where they say, just go out and start approaching girls. I had a buddy of mine, and he's always like, yeah, I just want to pick up some bitches. So we go out to Fremont Street, and he just start opening sets. But the type of girls that he would pick up were not like, after he gets home, he's like, well, I really want the real pussy. I want to get some hot bitches. And I'm like, well, why don't you go to a place where there's hot bitches? Like, Fremont's a cool spot. I think it's a great spot to pick up local girls, and you're going to run into a lot of, I don't know, the crowd. I don't know where you guys are out there in the world right now. Vegas is kind of a unique place to game, just being the fact that it's this weird city that gets replenished basically every 24 hours with new pussy. So it's like, and gaming in Las Vegas is like, if you guys ever played Mario Brothers when you were a kid, you probably remember the clock in the corner, and it'll count down from 300 seconds. And if you don't get to the flagpole, if you don't save the princess by the time the clock hits 0, then you die and you got to start over. And it's just like Vegas, these girls come in in the afternoon, and they're here for a wedding, or they're here for a conference, and then they're flying back to fucking Ohio at like 6 in the morning. And if you don't nail that pussy by the time she's gone, then all you're gonna end up being is just Facebook friends. And we're playing this game to win here. I won't even say it's a game. I'll say it's a war. It's us versus them in a way. But going back to what I'm talking about, developing your target market, I think it's important for guys to sit down and start realizing what they want in a woman. I'm talking about who she is as a person. What type of clique does she run with? Why does that girl want you? Building value so that you can meet her halfway. For example, if maybe you're into like hot raver chicks. But if you're like a dentist and you don't know nothing about the rave community, you don't know what EDM is, you don't know who Tiesto is, why the fuck would she want to roll with you when she could roll with someone in her own little clique? And this goes the same with, goth chicks, hip-hop chicks, everybody's got their own little tribe in a way. And if you're not a high-value member in her universe, in her tribe, why does she want to roll with you? Does that make sense? So I think it's really important to just really narrow it down to be like, who is this girl? Like, how old is she? What does she look like? What is she into? What kind of venues does she go to? What's up? Oh, I thought I heard something.
I don't think that was a question. I just think that was a frequency squawk.
No worries. And then from there, my method called Real Game, it starts out with the target market assessment. That's the first phase. And then it goes into the second phase, which is called Lifestyle Mastery, which is basically starting to create your life so that you become a perfect match to her. So once you know who the girl is that you want, the type of girl that you're looking for, what she's into, you got to somehow rearrange your life. Because right now, if you're not getting any girls, then what you're doing isn't working. So instead of keeping beating your head against the wall and doing the same shit that you've been doing, it's time to start something different. This one of my mentors, Kevin Trudeau, he gave me an amazing quote, which is, if you want to change what you see in the mirror, if you want to look back at a reflection with you and a beautiful woman, you need to change yourself first before that reflection changes. After that, after you change your life in a way where you actually become a match to that girl, then it's going to come to a point of first contact. Now, let me just bring you up to speed real quick. Let's just take an example. Let's say I'm really into I want to date a girl who's into yoga or something like that, right? Maybe you find those yoga girls hot, spiritual girls. I think it would be wise to first understand her whole reality. You'd have to understand yoga, learn the poses. You might want to start going to classes. You don't want to be some dude who just shows up at yoga and is out of shape. You might want to actually get yourself in shape first. And so for me, I'm not about instant gratification in this. I'm in for getting real results, even if those results take quite a few years to get. Let's say you want to score a hot fucking yoga instructor. Is it wise that you're going to go out and get that girl, boom, right now with some basic seduction community bullshit where you're going up and asking girls their opinion on, hey, ladies, quick question. What do you think about girls and tattoos? Like, I'm not going to say it's not going to work, but there's a better way to do that. So imagine you became a man who's in now great shape, who knows something about yoga and spirituality and chakra points, so that you can actually have a real conversation with a hot yoga instructor, and she's actually going to take you serious as a man, and she's going to see you as value, the value that you could bring to her life, and that's how you can kind of create a union together. You got to be able to develop, trust, comfort, connection, and most importantly, I think, is a commonality between you. There has to be a common theme or a bond that's going to bind the two of you together. That's what's going to pull her, into your nexus and want to be a part of your life. The next phase that I look at after that logically is once you set up your life, once you know who you want, and then you set up your life in a certain way that's going to bring value to that girl, then you're actually going to go out and do your whole sarging thing, and that's going to bring you to a point of what I call first contact. And that's going to, the attraction, comfort, seduction phase that you guys have probably studied through mystery method is not, mystery didn't create attract, comfort, seduce. That's a marketing strategy that's been developed, for quite a few years, a lot longer than the seduction community. And then after that, and that's one of the things that the seduction community doesn't teach you. It tells you, well, first you just got to go out and attract and then build comfort and seduce. And if you're not fucking attractive, then you can't attract a girl. You have to become attractive first. So there is a before the attraction stage, and there's also an after the seduction stage. It's not like you just fucking bang the bitch, you bust a nut, and then it's over. You know, if you want to actually get a relationship and keep a relationship, then there is something called relationship management that has to be gone into. Does that make sense? Anyway, I did a whole book on this this method. It's an ebook. Anyway, if you guys want to check out more, my website is www.ryanjaunzemislifestylecoaching.com. There's also a Facebook page for it, and I'll give you some more contact information after we're done. But I'd like to hear a little bit from the audience, kind of see where you guys are at, and talk about what you guys are actually into, and hopefully help you guys step up your game. Say that again?
Who did you say your mentor was?
Oh, one of my mentors is, I think I mentioned Kevin Trudeau. He's got a great book called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. It's a phenomenal book if you're interested in anything about like diet and nutrition. For me, I used to be really overweight. I was 70 pounds overweight, and some of the techniques that I took out of that book, I dropped like 70 pounds within, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. I think Nathan had seen me at the time when, I think you went back to New York, right, Nate? And then you came back on vacation, and then I was like shrunk. Anyway, I use a lot of that. What's that?
You looked great. You lost a lot of weight. I mean, and that ultimately that's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be just one area of self-improvement.
Yeah, it was crazy because you know, a lot of the guys that just say, you know, just go out and start approaching girls, and they don't say like, well, why don't you, like I said, actually become attractive first. You know, I was overweight. I went down. I started training. I was like hitting the gym every day. I became a personal trainer. I became a marathon runner. And what was crazy is there's this one bitch, right? She moved into town. This is one of my favorite success stories. This chick is she's like a model for Budweiser or NASCAR, right? 26 years old, 115 pounds, 5'6", little brunette girl, brown eyes, pretty girl, right? And because I use hot game, which is like what Mystery calls like level 5 game, beyond going out in the cold approach, this is where you build your social media up so that and set up your life so that girls come to you. And anyway, she just moved into town, and my car engine, I was driving a little convertible Sebring, and the fucking timing belt went out on it. So I had no ride. Payday wasn't for a couple days, and I didn't even have money for the bus. But I was in such good shape that anyway, this girl, she was living in Summerlin, and I'm on the far side of Henderson. Overall, it's about a 22-mile distance. Anyway, I found enough money to jump on the bus one way, which took me about 10 miles, but I still had another 12 miles to go. Anyway, this bitch told me, hey, I'll meet you at the bar. I'm new in town, and I was like, okay, I'll be there in a couple hours. It's going to take me a little bit. I put on my jogging suit after I got on the bus, and I ran to that pussy. When I got to the bar about, I don't know, 3 hours later or something like that, after 12 miles, she had a nice cold beer waiting for me. And we'd already been talking for a little bit online, but then when we met up, it was like just that fitness. I would have never been able to run that distance in the shape that I was in before. But I got there, and she was so like excited, and it felt so special that I had gone and basically ran that far. She was like melting. She was like, oh my God, like I can't believe you did that. I feel so special. And we drank. We started playing pool. I started building Keno. I do a shit ton of little DHV routines. We end up walking back to her house, and I fucking banged her right there. I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm telling you, health and fitness will change your game and allow you to do things that you've never been able to do before. Anyway, I definitely, I think that's like one of the best places to start, rather than just going out and approaching and shit. It's like, you know, handle your life and, you know, make yourself attractive first, and then girls will come to you.
Okay, Ryan, great. Thank you so much. So let's open it up to questions, because that was some interesting stuff. So if anybody has a question, Just shout out your first name and what city you're calling from, or a first name.
Hey, how you doing? This is Joe in New York. It wasn't me, but I was just wondering, what was your website again, and how old are you? Fine.
Did you say Joe from New York?
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, what's cracking, man? So my website is Ryan Jaunzemis. It's spelled RyanJaunzemis, lifestylecoaching.com. And you can also check me out on Facebook. It's Facebook.com/Ryan Jaunzemis, or just go to my YouTube channel, and there's a shit ton of dating types on there, which is it is YouTube.com/The Ryan J Show. Definitely subscribe to that. And I am 35 years old, and I am in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay, the only reason I was asking is I'm 39 now.
Okay.
And you mentioned you were with like a 26-year-old. I find when I get to, say, like maybe more than a 10-year gap, it can get a little strange sometimes.
Tell me what you mean by strange, because I'm gonna blow your fucking mind in a minute.
Well, I'd say there's a portion of the time where it's fine. The girl doesn't mind. In fact, she might even like it, but that's a small portion. But a vast majority of the time, if the girl, say, like 23, 24, and they ask me, right now I'm telling the truth, they say 39. There are some that will automatically say, oh my God, they have rules, like they only date up to, say, 32 or 35. So I lose, I'd say about half of them based off of each.
So what is the question?
I was wondering, you're 35, you're not like, I'm actually a bit older, but I was wondering how you handle those younger girls when there's maybe like a 12-year gap and they may not be comfortable with it. Or maybe you don't experience it, I don't know. If you do, how do you handle it?
Okay, so the question is, how do I... Do you mean like how do I poll younger girls? That's actually...
So when you encounter a hot girl, and because right now, like the last few years, I've noticed they like in the last 4 or 5 years, almost every girl I talk to, I try to talk to attractive women, and quite frankly, the attractive women are usually pretty young. If I'm being honest.
Right, it's a biological thing.
The last 2 years, almost every girl I approach that's really attractive and is in that like 23, 24 range, one of the first things I'll say is, how old are you? Because I'm looking at my age nowadays. Okay. And not all of them are comfortable with the gap. And I understand that, but I was wondering if you had any tips or...
Oh, I have a lot. I actually almost finished publishing a book called Dating Younger Women, so that's something to look forward to. But, so, recently, okay, I'm 35. The age of consent in Las Vegas is 16. I was recently dating a 16-year-old. He was a sophomore, a fucking high school cheerleader. It was amazing, super hot. I love younger women. So you'll find some younger girls prefer dating older men. We can just do more for them. And some younger girls are not attracted to older men. Every one of them is different to like all, to so many varying degrees. You know, for example, I was recently dating this 21-year-old girl. I've dated a lot of younger girls. I've dated a lot of older girls. I've dated, I was in a serious relationship with one girl. She was 36. I've dated someone who I think was 42 when I was 31. And, there's a lot of similarities, a lot of differences. And, some of them, everybody wants different things, and people are, attraction is not a choice. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes for me, like, there's some... If I ran into a girl who was younger and wasn't interested in older guys, I'm not going to sit there and try to DHV, like try to get her to get into me. I'd rather naturally align with a girl who likes or prefers older gentlemen. And because, like, if they're naturally attracted to that, sometimes it's could have daddy issues. Maybe like their dad might have been a lot older than them when they were growing up, and so they're looking at like, we're usually attracted as men. We usually attracted to something that's similar to like our mother figure, whereas a woman is mostly attracted to somewhat of their father figure. Does that make sense? So if he happened to be a lot older, she may just naturally be attracted to older men. For example, like this one girl, she's her friends would not necessarily be interested in me, but they have this thing in the community where they say like 9 girls may say hell no, but 1 girl will say hell yes. And like the girl that I was into, she's like, oh, I prefer like dating you. Like for me, like if she dated another dude who was 16 or 18, what can he really do for her? So you want to take her out to a movie, he'd have to go fucking sell lemonade. He'd have to like wash his mom's car for $5, and like, what kind of date is that going to be? Like, whereas me, I can pick her up in a car. I can take her out to Disneyland for a weekend, for like a weekend getaway. I can take her to the Bahamas with my paycheck for the weekend. Does that make sense? For survival purposes, it makes more sense for a younger girl to align with an older gentleman, a guy who's established, who has property. And then for on the reverse, for me, I believe it makes more sense to date a younger, hotter, thinner girl who's more fertile. You start having, pregnancy issues or going to try to create a child with a girl who's over 35, you have significant risks of things like Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and stuff. And it's kind of weird. Like men were, we produce new sperm on a daily basis. Until the day that you die. Whereas women, their eggs aren't even born in them. They're born with about 1,200 eggs, and they start releasing them at about 8 years old, and they stop at age 51. And as time progresses, those eggs, they degrade in quality. You know what I'm saying? So a younger girl can actually give you a more healthy baby, genetically speaking.
Yeah.
But I would just say for you, if you're wanting to date like a girl who's like 22 and you're 39, you said, I think one of the most important things to do is find the ones that are naturally attracted to older guys, and at the same time, you need to be able to speak their language, because a lot of the things that the younger generation is into, the older generation usually doesn't have a clue. So there's that big gap in communication. Whereas I'm a pretty hip guy. I'm into the new trends. I go to things like EDC. I know all the new apps. I talk in emojis a lot on my phone. So if I'm talking to a younger girl, she can relate to what I'm saying. Whereas, if I try to date a girl my own age who was 35 and I started talking about things like the latest EDM DJ or what is TBH, or I start talking in acronyms, talking about Woman Crush Wednesday or some shit like that, or the latest hashtag, she's not going to have a fucking clue what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But if I go talk to like a 19-year-old girl at the store and I start talking to her about the latest fucking OS upgrade on for Instagram or whatever, she's going to be able to relate to me instantly.
Ryan, that was definitely something. Wow, that blew my mind. It did blow my mind. Exactly what you said. Do you mind if I jump in here and throw my 2 cents a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
And the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm an older guy like yourself. I'm actually older than you are. Because I noticed that's why you asked Ryan's age.
Yeah.
But what's funny is, like, remember when we were at the club and we pulled them fucking, like, 22-year-old Canadian bitches? Holy shit. Nathan has some incredible game. Yeah, you guys should see it. Oh, go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off there.
That's all right. Thank you. Anytime you want to talk about my incredible game, feel free to interrupt. So what I was going to say was, just from listening to you, I'm going to make certain assumptions about what you look like physically, and you correct me if I'm wrong before I continue. You sound like a guy who's kind of tall with a large nose. Would that be accurate or no?
Pretty tall, probably average size nose.
Okay, all right. But you're in New York, so your average, your measure for what average is probably not correct. So it's probably, I'm in New York right now too, and my nose is probably slightly above average as well. Except I'm not a tall guy. So it makes you a good-looking guy. So what? Here's the thing. Like, women almost never ask me what my age is. And I basically, I've designed the conversation so that they never ask me what my age is. Okay? Because I know what's going to happen. Because how old are you is a damned if you do, damned if you don't question, and I know you figured this out by now, right? Because they have this really extremely limited parameter, and if you don't fall within it, then that's it, it's over. Right? I mean, they're not asking the question to qualify you to move you ahead to the next step on the board game. They're actually asking the question to disqualify you more often than not. Correct?
I've been disqualified. Yes.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't leave a gap in the conversation. See, people ask questions like, how old are you? Where are you from? What's your name? When there is the awkward pause in the conversation and somebody does not know what to say. Yeah, so then they throw in those back pocket things that are regular, normal conversation. I don't let those things happen. Right? So as long as you don't let that happen at a certain point really early on, then you just keep going and she likes you. And then if it happens later on, it's too late. She already likes you. So now she's gonna...
Tell the truth?
What's that?
And then from there, do you tell the truth or do you shave it for sure?
No, you can tell the truth. You can tell the truth. She already likes you, so now it's not really as important. See, the thing is, the number thing is logical. It's a logical thing. But if they like you, that's an emotional thing. Okay? And so, like what Brian said earlier, attraction is not a choice. If she already decided that she likes you, and she's like, oh, but he doesn't fit within my narrow parameters, she will basically throw out her parameters that she's been carrying around with her for years because she likes you. And ultimately, emotions are more powerful than any logical decision they can make. Unless, of course, you're dealing with a sociopath, which sometimes happens. Certain women are like, no, the guy has to be X tall, he has to be a doctor, and generally these are what we refer to as value girls. That it's gonna be almost impossible she's not looking to have a connection built with her. She's looking to check off a bunch of boxes. Now, that's fine. That's, some people, that's who they are. And a lot of the very attractive women fall into that category. Generally, they're not the most attractive women, but they are highly above average. The most attractive women generally don't care about, whether you're a doctor or whether you're 6.5 feet tall. They just want a good person that they can make a genuine connection with. And that's the irony. But the women who are, who don't see themselves as 9s or 10s, they are looking to validate themselves and their partner. So their partner must be a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
So that's really fucking more involved than you asked for. But that's just That's just the main overarching macro philosophy that I have behind beating the age thing. Is basically have her like you before the question comes up.
I like that. Working in concerts for so many years, I could definitely relate to that, because you see a lot of teeny bopper girls at these shows, and it doesn't matter if the rock stars are like the new age.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh.
Wait, I'm walking on the street right now, and we have some people that are just like biking right by me, and she had a comment. Go ahead.
Oh, nice.
Hi, I'm sorry, I couldn't help overhearing your friend.
Okay.
I was just thinking, attractive girls like people who are funny and nice and have a good sense of humor. We're people too. And good luck to you. Your friend is super cute. I'm sure you are too.
Oh shit!
You're awesome. You guys are awesome. They were so cute.
Was that a live approach there on radio that we just captured, Nathan?
Yes, I'm walking on the street. I didn't get to dinner before this call. Because somebody held me up, and so I'm walking to dinner now, and I'm out on the street, walking around the streets in New York City, and there was a couple, two people on a bicycle, and they overheard our conversation, and she decided she wanted to join in. That was awesome.
I love it when a girl tries to join in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, that's all I would say, and Ryan has been to Project Vegas Mansion before. Actually, Ryan came to Project Vegas Mansion when we were at our smaller location years ago, and he's met some of the guys that have been through the program, and he's seen the difference that they make, and I see that Ryan is always out there working with guys, and he's doing some good stuff too, and I want to make sure that gets recognized. And I'm sorry, I don't want to hog your call, but you have time for one more question. So just shout out a first name and what city you're calling from.
Paul, San Francisco. I have a question regarding body language. If she puts her hands on her hip, and I can give you the full context if you like, but generally it's sort of like an arms crossed or a sign of aggression, or like how should we interpret and respond to that?
Paul, from where were you at? Did you say San?
Paul from San Francisco.
Paul from San Francisco.
That's right, yes.
Okay, so body language is interesting. Just because she has her hands on her hips doesn't generally mean anything. What you want to look for when you're reading body language is you want to look for clusters. You want to look for maybe 2 to 3 to 4 distinct movements. For example, if she had her hands on her hips, that's usually a gesture that she's trying to make herself appear bigger in a way. And but let's say she had her hands on her hips and her foot was facing directly towards you. Now that could mean a bunch of different things, but you want to look for not just the one thing. Like, for example, some people might have their hands behind their back, like you think they're hiding something. But if her feet were in a different position or her eyes were doing something different, like you want to look at the entire person so that you can read. When you get it down, it's almost like mind reading. For example, if I walk into a room, I could probably tell you what everybody is thinking. And can you go into the context a little deeper here? Was this a personal experience?
Yeah, right. Yeah, basically this was at last night at a dance club dancing, partner dance.
Mm-hmm.
And how we got into it was she had cool earrings on, so I told her at the end of the dance she had cool earrings. And I remember dancing with her actually a few months before,
mm-hmm.
and she had fluorescent earrings, so I brought that up too. And then she said, "Oh, thank you." But then after she said she thanked me, the hands went on the hips, and I didn't set the feet. They were probably still pointing towards me. And then a little later, I met her off the dance floor and talked a bit more, and I also got the hands on the hips. So I wasn't sure, like, it was kind of, I was wondering if it's the vibe, well, this guy's trying to hit on me type thing. So I kind of, like, laid back a bit more.
Now, I wasn't there, so I don't know the whole context, but what you described right now almost seems like she was waiting for you to continue. Like, thank you, and then has the hands on her hips, like, okay, I'll give you a shot. What do you got? You know, does that make sense? If she wasn't interested,
Yeah, that could have been it. Total. Yeah.
if it wasn't, if she wasn't into you, I don't think that she would have kind of stayed there. She would have said, "Oh, thanks," and then turned her head to the side like she wasn't interested. But I don't know, just the way that you described that sounded like she was waiting to see what else you got.
Right.
Nathan, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's fine. That was excellent. Paul, I mean, in a vacuum, if you had video, we could give you a better answer. But you know, in a vacuum with just hands on hips, it's hard to say. Usually, hands on hips indicates that she's thinking or that there is some type of disbelief. You know, you know what the rest of the body was doing, so you have to kind of between those two, it's probably one of those two. Whatever you said to her, put her in thought, and perhaps in a thought that she found slightly incredulous. But without seeing it live in person, you know, it like what Ryan was saying, you have to look at the other things, the foot position, the hips, the knees, to tell you a little bit better.
Well, I'll check those next time.
Yeah, Ryan, do they know how to reach you? They know what your website is and everything?
Yeah, guys. If you want to contact me, the best way to subscribe on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/The Ryan J Show, and that will give you, or just look up my name, Ryan Jaunzemis on YouTube. So there's tons of dating and relationship tips on there. My phone number is 702-417-7714 if you want to shoot the shit, or if you're coming through Vegas. And check out Nathan, definitely at Project Vegas. Is pretty badass. Oh, Nathan, I didn't even get to tell you, bro. You guys out there, the last time Nathan and I were kicking it, we actually did a program called Wingmanship, where we actually teach guys how to go out into the club and work together as a team. And that seminar is now on DVD, and it's available on Amazon.com. I didn't get a chance to tell you that yet.
Okay, sorry guys, I was away from the call for a minute, and I'm back now.
Well, you missed it.
So what I would say is, put this call in your reminders and your calendars, a weekly reminder. Make it a repeating reminder. It's 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. East Coast. We have a different coach every week, and if we have somebody that we've had before, because they're backed by popular demand, they'll be talking about different stuff anyway and taking different questions anyway. And Ryan, thank you so much for being on the call. I think the guys enjoyed it, and I know they enjoyed it. I don't even need to think about that, because it was very entertaining.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. And there was some really good stuff in there. So let's. I guess we'll talk to you all next week. We've already gone 5 minutes over. Thank you all so much. Take care. Bye bye.